Welcome, Aries. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot doing a first quarter, January, February, March of 2026 preview. Looking astrologically, Aries, there are a couple of notable shifts in some outer planets for you. One, Neptune moving into your sign, Aries, at the end of January, and Saturn moving into Aries in the middle of February. So those are absolutely going to affect you depending on where Aries is in your chart. I have a well aspected Aries moon, so that would be, I think, very germane to me as an example. But this should give you some information or provide you messages about general trends or ways that you can focus in the beginning of the year. I'm going to turn over a few pre-laid tarot cards. I haven't seen them yet, and I will clarify those using a couple of oracle decks along the way. So in January, the Strength card. This is beautiful energy, and because I'm reading this during the full moon, the last full moon of the year, I am very struck by how this is related to your ability to communicate, the changes that are occurring in your openness to discover new truths outside of your familiar terrain. Something you have been doing, something you are building or creating is opening you up to possibilities heretofore unimagined. So this is where the energy of Neptune, which the Strength card can be said to mimic to a certain degree. This is about faith. This is about belief in yourself, hopefulness, the ability to persevere despite circumstances along a spiritual intention, a goal that recognizes and invests faith into the possibility of a better world. This is going to shift in late January towards the end of this month when Neptune moves into your sign and really clarifies for you whatever activity that has been built on your ability to communicate, share information, or to mediate between a couple of states of your own inner growth. I hope that's clear. In February, the Eight of Swords is describing the overwhelm of thinking, I think is safe to say. And here Saturn is moving into your sign in the middle of the month. So here you are open up to a wealth of ideas that are really informed by your own experience. This is the stuff of what it is you are sharing with others. And you are coming up against, as you have successfully planned, launched, or proposed some new ideas for presentation, for publication, you have become overwhelmed by the processing that is required in order to make the message, the information, as accessible to others as possible. And that takes you into a terrain where you may feel out of your depth and where you become increasingly aware that you rely on others to help you. There's a lot about not just the mechanical or technological needs that are required to do this work, but also about the way that those encourage you to learn more about what it is you're sharing with others, to structure that in a way, to continue to work on the foundation of what it is you have to communicate with others. And in March, there's only one beautiful thing happening in March astrologically, and Jupiter is moving direct in Cancer, albeit, but its exaltation, and Jupiter is very much, I think, aligned with some of the empowerment and energy of the Empress card. This is about power and presence and feeling that you are thoroughly supported after a little bit of help and support, or in some cases, a lot of help and support to spread your message, share your information, make your communicate more broadly, to open yourself up to broader audiences, to make your messages clear and more, I want to say more universal, but I hesitate because that's so loaded. But I think as you are reaching audiences, you're receiving feedback that informs you as to what your audiences need. And you are supplying that through a wealth of information and knowledge that you've accumulated. But you're doing it in such a way that it is aligned with not only your experience, your best practices, but with the planet, the impact on the planet, the impact on social structures, ways that this information you're communicating can be empowering to communities. So I'm going to clarify January with the Page of Pentacles and the King of Wands. So there's a couple of things here that you're showing me. You're showing me incredible confidence in your sensitivities, your awareness of your power and the information that you're able to receive and communicate with others. This inclines me to think about partnerships, but more about your having sovereignty over your part of the work. And then that part is anchored in the structure of whatever you're creating. But there's also the part of you that is open to learning and doing what you need to make your creation effective and impactful. So this is the practical aspect of you, and that is what those methods you use to concretize what it is you're building or creating. Your faith and belief that with practical application, discipline, that you can reach a wider audience, one that is in many ways matching your confidence, your sense of renewal as an individual, and your connection to joy, pleasure, positive energy, good well-being, good health and wellness. In February, the Eight of Swords is clarified by the Hanged Man and the Eight of Pentacles, and this describes with 2 8s, very positive. February, you achieve something. Some milestone is reached. Some sense of progress is now being measured, and you are continuing your diligent effort. Here, it feels like the work of your initial creation, the initial presentation or outline of your project or plan has generated a lot of work that you are keeping up with, particularly if you've hired on others or have gained pledges of support from outside of yourself, your team, your partnership. And this is, again, helping you to learn, to stretch your understanding to a place where you can communicate your vision and goals to others so that they're able to implement what it is you see. So this requires a lot of teaching others what your vision is so they can take their expertise and fit it into that picture in a way that will be effective and increase your productivity. So I feel like there's a big leap here that requires you to keep working, but to rebuild or amplify your vision, the part of you that is then communicating with those you delegate responsibilities to what it is you see. So there's a lot of teaching and learning here on both parts of on your part, having to teach and then learn what others can do in the context of your vision, your plan, your goals. And there's also the teaching of others to understand what your vision is, because it's quite likely that what you're doing is unfamiliar to some who will be assisting you. Even the gathering of support is a very careful, thoughtful process, one in which you are soliciting information from others about something you know less about, and they too are learning from you. But this increases your perspective. It's required in order for you to manage this, the building of this vision. In March, the Empress is clarified by the Knight of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. This is lovely. So in March, again, Jupiter goes direct, and this is beautiful because this puts your accomplishments firmly in a place where you are seeing the tangible, concrete results of the information or the resources or services that you're offering to others. Because it's gone through a very holistic process from your own experiences, gauging your interpretation of those experiences, connecting with your human compassion, the humility required in finding ways to share your information with others in a way that they can hear it, that it will produce the desired effect or lead to the desired action that your information is intended to encourage. The Knight of Pentacles is really highlighting this practical, realistic discipline that you display every step of the way. And it feels like in March, the vision of what you've been creating, perhaps for many months, for some of you, even years, is beginning to emerge as a benefit, a growth, as a gift to those that you are providing a service to, and yourself as part of your healing, as you share your own experience and model that for others. So what you're doing is very intimate. The information you're sharing is intimate and makes you vulnerable in ways that you have anticipated and have been protecting yourself in that way throughout this process. But really what is underneath this vulnerability, this tenderness, this honesty that you are projecting is this great sense of joy of being in this work, in this world, and service provided to your community. I'm going to pull an oracle card for January. Okay, I actually want 3 cards. Great. Because I'm going to, just as it's turned out, I'm going to place an oracle card for each month. Okay, so we have envy here in January. I'm the same as everybody, but with different challenges. And I think it's interesting that I see a shift in your perspective in January, away from the idea of having different challenges towards the idea that like everyone has different challenges. So there is no but, and I think that's really the only edit I'm clarifying here. Everyone is different, and that's our sameness, and that is a subtle shift in the experience of inclusion, so that we all have differences. That's what makes us human. That's what we have in common. Of course, there are ways in which we unite around our commonalities, but we can also unite around our differences. And I think something about the information you're conveying, what it is you're building for others, is really emphasizing our sameness despite our differences. In February, grief card, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And I feel like, apart from perhaps some critical shift in operations regarding a project, perhaps some shift in personnel or assistance that you've been receiving, this is really an opportunity for you to uh, better delegate those tasks and responsibilities that you cannot manage as the leader or as one of the leaders of this vision. So there are bound to be, along with the success, some failures, some things that don't work out. That's part of how you're measuring the growth. Progress is guaranteed, but it isn't all progress in the direction you had anticipated. So I think in February you are looking at the way you may need to shore up your resources, your equipment, your materials, simplify some of what your plan may have been in the past in order to create a clearer brand, if you will. And in March, change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. I really feel like March is kind of a watershed, at the beginning of a watershed. I feel as though, despite any glitches or obstacles you've encountered in the early part of the year, I feel like you are in the process of developing systems that work for you, systems that ease the work, make it more productive, more effective, and with greater impact. And because of your feeling good about this very authentic expression of yourself, things are moving more fluidly. There's a greater sense of satisfaction, contentment, and displaying yourself, exposing yourself as a model of your information or values or energy or services that you're providing. And lastly, I'm going to pull an oracle card from, I think this is called Enchanted Blossoms, and they're really stiff, so they don't slide very well. But what we have here is endurance. And I like that because it features, first of all, the cactus, which is, for me, a beautiful plant that mimics the strength card. In another deck I have, I want to say it's a Zoltan deck. The cactus is the maiden, is the emblem of strength. The cactus being the gigantic, almost humanoid or gigantic humanoid plant in the desert that is full of water, and therefore hosts incredible flowers, birds, plants, bugs, insects, and a lot of nano life, infinitesimal life. And this is really, again, a beautiful emblem of the perseverance, the energy, the drive, the motivation that you bring to this project. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If this has resonated in any way, please like, please subscribe to my channel. Until next time, namaste.